Once again, the U.S. Senate is being called upon to do its constitutional duty and consider a nomination to the United States Supreme Court. Positions on the Supreme Court are hugely significant given their lifetime tenures and the impact of the court's decision on the lives of Americans. Our votes on Supreme Court nominees are among the most significant that we cast. I want to commend Chairman Leahy for the extraordinarily thorough and fair hearings that the Judiciary Committee held on this nomination. It has given us a very, very extensive record upon which we can base our judgment. I've reviewed the nominee's qualifications, temperament, and background to determine if she is likely to bring to the court an ideology that distorts her legal judgment or brings into question her open-mindedness. I believe it is clear that Judge Sotomayor satisfies the essential requirements of open-mindedness and judicial temperament, and her decisions as a judge fall well within the mainstream of our jurisprudence. Judge Sotomayor's judicial career has received bipartisan support. She was nominated first to the District Court in the Southern District of New York by President George H.W. Bush. The Senate confirmed her nomination. President Clinton has nominated Judge Sotomayor to be a circuit court judge. The Senate overwhelmingly confirmed her nomination to that position. The American Bar Association Standing Committee evaluated Judge Sotomayor and interviewed more than 500 judges, lawyers, law professors, and community representatives from across the United States. They analyzed Judge Sotomayor's opinions, speeches, and other writings. They read reports of reading groups comprised of recognized experts in the substantive areas of the law that they reviewed. They conducted an in-depth personal interview of the nominee. And in the words of the committee, the Standing Committee's investigation of a nominee for the United States Supreme Court is based on the premise that the nominee must possess exceptional professional qualifications. The significant range and complexity and nationwide impact of issues that such a nominee will confront on the court demands no less. After that extensive investigation, the American Bar Association gave Judge Sotomayor their highest rating, unanimously rating her well qualified. Now, some colleagues have expressed concern over the differences in language and ideas that they thought they observed in Judge Sotomayor while sitting as a judge in the courtroom and as a citizen outside of the courtroom. For example, one colleague put it this way during Judge Sotomayor's confirmation hearing, quote, "I want to ask your assistance this morning to try to help us reconcile two pictures that I think have emerged during the course of this hearing. One is, of course, as Senator Schumer and others have talked about, your lengthy tenure on the federal bench as a trial judge and Court of Appeals judge. And then our colleague said there's the other picture that has emerged from your speeches and your other writings." And our colleague went on to say the following, that I actually agree that your judicial record strikes me as pretty much in the mainstream of judicial decision-making by district court judges and by Court of Appeals judges on the federal bench. And he said, in conclusion then of this quote, that I guess part of what we need to do is to reconcile these, referring to the two different pictures that he has. Now, Madam President, let's assume for a moment that there is a difference between Judge Sotomayor's rulings in the courtroom and those personal views she expressed outside of the courtroom. If so, aren't we looking for people who can apply the law on the bench, even if he or she has a different personal opinion? At the end of the day, we want our judges to leave their personal views outside of the courtroom. That is the essence of an impartial judiciary. In other words, Judge Sotomayor has demonstrated the very trait that she is accused by some of lacking, the ability to leave her personal opinions at the courthouse door. The Congressional Research the Congressional Research Service has analyzed Judge Sotomayor's record and has concluded the following. Perhaps the most consistent characteristic of Judge Sotomayor's approach as an appellate judge has been an adherence to the doctrine of stare decisis, that is, upholding of past judicial precedents. Other characteristics, they noted, appear to include what many would describe as a careful application of particular facts at issue in a case and a dislike for situations in which the court might be seen as overstepping its judicial role. Well, Madam President, that is the opposite of an activist judge imposing her views despite the law. We all have personal views and sympathies. Some judges, regrettably, can't lay those aside when making their judicial calls. Judge Sotomayor has proven in her judicial career that she can, while faithfully applying the principles of the United States Constitution. And for these reasons, I'll vote to confirm Judge Sotomayor to the Supreme Court.